Hi and welcome, assalamu alaikum and merhaba to all my Arabian friends watching this video right now. Today I show you how to get the best out of your landscape images only using Lightroom.
My name is Benjamin Jaworskyj, photographer and adventurer. 10 years ago, I started to teach myself photography. Today, I travel the world as a professional photographer and filmmaker. Learn from my experiences, mistakes and tips and join me on my photography adventures.
I just opened a raw image of a landscape shot I did. We go now over to Lightroom on my computer and I show you how to get the epic colors, saturation and of course contrast for your landscape shots.
As you can see, I'm on my computer right now and I opened Lightroom already. There's an image inside. This image was taken in Norway. We had a nice camper trip through Scandinavia, Sweden and Norway. And this was almost the last spot we visited. It was in Geiranger and it has a very nice scenery there. At day it's very touristy, but at night, and this was taken at around 2 a.m. in the morning, you have perfect light and nobody around. This shot is very much underexposed, as you can see in the image itself, but as well in the histogram on the right hand side. There you can see my settings as well. It was not taken with a tripod, so it was handheld, f5.6 1/100th of a second shutter speed and ISO 1000, which is no problem with the A7R II. With that, this image was taken. I used a graduated filter as well, but the sky was so bright and all the other stuff in the valley was so dark that it was not easy to balance everything. That's why I underexposed in that situation. And a lot of people underexpose in landscape situations. That's why it's a good starting point to just show you what I do in Lightroom. The first thing I will do when I look at the whole image and the histogram, I will just adjust the histogram. And a lot of people don't know that it's even possible to adjust the histogram. You just go here up in the histogram, and as you can see, there's a dark area. So I just go in this dark area, press my mouse button or the trackpad, and then just drag everything to the right hand side. And as you can see, now my blacks are turning. I don't want the blacks to turn, I want the shadows to turn. So just go over this thing here. And as you can see, there are the blacks, here are the shadows, so I just drag the shadows, click in the histogram, and now drag it to the right-hand side. And now you can see the shadow slider goes up, and the image opens all the details in that nice valley around here. Now I go in the exposure, so in the middle of the histogram, just click it and drag it to the right-hand side. Now everything opens even more, and I just drag it as much till it's somewhere here in the middle as well. Something around here. And now you can see, oh, okay, the foreground now looks not too bad. It's bright and you see all the great details, but this thing here is too bright now. So I just go in the highlights here and just drag the highlights a bit back, but not too much. A lot of people do it like this, but that's too much. That's over edited. So just do it a bit, just like this. Now there you can see something around here in this area. I pull the blacks now a bit back again. So just something like this. That's what you can just remember all the time. Just hit the highlights down and shadows up. In most of the landscape situations that works perfectly, but don't do it till the limit. Not to the left and not this one to the right, just something around there. The numbers are not that important, it totally depends on the image. Okay, what else can we do? Now I would put the contrast a bit more up because it's a raw image and a raw only is very flat. It has not so much contrast, that's why it's raw. So I would just put a bit of contrast in the image. You can always remember a raw image as a good piece of meat and it needs a bit salt and a bit pepper and some good pan and then some good heat, and then you just put it on and then everything is great. And the same is with the raw image. You just need a bit salt and pepper, and that's usually highlights and shadows. Would be better S is salt, but H, what is H? I have no idea. Okay, so vibrance. I put the vibrance as well a bit up because in a raw image, vibrance usually is lost a bit. And then I just go a bit down, down, down. That's all stuff I don't need. I go to remove chromatic aberration. With that lens, I used the 16 to 35mm lens. I don't have chromatic aberration very much, so I don't need that. But I always click it. It's just a good workflow, a good starting point to just remove chromatic aberration. Then I enable profile corrections, and as you can see, the corners get a bit brighter now. That's a bit a problem of the 16:35 4.0 by Sony. It has a lot of vignetting. Even on 5.6, on 4.0 it's totally bad. Sometimes it's kind of arty, but in this case here, I would just leave it like this, and the distortion as well goes a bit away. Then you can go all the way to the bottom, and there you can see there is a profile, which is Adobe Standard. In some situations I leave the Adobe Standard, which is usually a bit desaturated, but you can as well try out to go in Camera Standard. Then you have a lot more color in the image. As well, you can go on Landscape. Then usually everything is super oversaturated, but some people like it. You can just try it out for yourself. On Canon cameras, for example, this landscape mode works perfectly good. With Sony cameras, it's usually too oversaturated, but when I photograph with my 6D or 5D Mark II, then this thing was a very good point. So just try it out for yourself. But now I leave it in the Adobe Standard in this situation. You see the difference, it's totally more desaturated. Okay, the last thing I would do with the landscape, I go in the graduated filter here. Now just pull the exposure down and the shadows, and this is an important point, up. Because I want the tree here not to get too dark, but I want the clouds and the sky to get darker, but I don't want the mountains here to be dark as well. So I just drag it now, and even a bit more, just till here or something. And now you can see if you want more of this, but this would be too much, just a bit. Just try all the time when you edit photos not to over-edit your images. And this here, it would be looking like if you put the shadows just like they are. So put the shadows up, and as you can see perfectly, the sky is not changing much, but the trees and the mountains get all the details back. Okay, and now hit done, because we are done. And when we want to watch the before and after, just hit Y. And as you can see, there's not much before and after because my Lightroom is bugging. I have no idea. So what I do, I just hit the right button and go to Edit in, Adobe Photoshop. Just open it in Photoshop. And there I put already the before image so that you can see the real before and after now next to each other. There we are now in Photoshop, and this is totally not necessary for your workflow, but just to show you the before and after. This is after, this is before. That's amazing. What you might think too dark image, what I would think perfect exposed image, because I can edit perfectly only in Lightroom, only with one exposure in this image, and I still have all the details in the sky, all the details in the foreground, even in that small reflection. And as you can see there's my girlfriend sitting on a nice rock, just enjoying the view with the 42 megapixels. Amazing. That's how I would edit the landscape image in Lightroom.
Boom! Isn't it amazing how much you can get out of your raw photos? Now try it for yourself. You can do the things I've shown you with like every version of Lightroom, even with the Lightroom mobile version for your smartphone, which is for free available in the App Store. And if you are interested in the Photoshop and Lightroom subscription, then just check the link below in the description bar. And we see us after a quick commercial. Check out learnfromben.com. This is my website. There you can find video courses, and one course is about Lightroom. Learn Lightroom the easy and fun way. I show you plenty of tricks in Lightroom, how to get the best out of your images, not only with landscapes, but as well with portrait shots and all the good stuff, HDR, panoramic shots, all the good stuff. So check out learnfromben.com and my course. And we are back from a quick commercial. Oh my God, was that fast and great. So we see us in the next video. If you want a shout out for your country, just write it in the comments below. If you have any topics I should talk about, maybe about image editing in Lightroom more or something, then just write it in the comments below. And I say, Masalamat to all my Arabian friends. See you in the next video and goodbye.